What up, YouTube? It's me, Isaac, coming to you with another edition of my life. So, I've been playing Mega Man Battle Network since the first game came out in '01, and I've played every game since they were released from '01 to '05, and 1 and 2 only had uh one version, but 3 through 6 had two different versions. So there's 10 different games in the series, which is odd, but I digress. So I've been playing the Legacy Collection since it came out on in 2023, and I've been playing it off and on since then, and I've played all the games besides the Legacy Collection at one point or another. I only had so I remember the first time I played Battle Network 1, it was while I was at summer camp, and back in, I think it was '01 or '02, I didn't actually own physical copies of Battle Network 1 or Battle Network 2 at the time, but I knew what the games were because my friends did, and that's how I played them. But when I got my copy of Battle Network 3 Blue, that was when I was already hooked on the series by playing Battle Network 1 and 2. But when I got my copy of 3 Blue, I knew I immediately wanted the rest of the series, but I could never find copies of 1 or 2 that were cheap enough that I wanted to save up the money for. Until I learned of the Legacy Collection that was going to come out in 2023, which I got for Switch, and that's when I first actually played Battle Network 1 and 2, since like I said, I didn't have copies of 1 or 2 back in the day, but I knew what the games were because my couple of my friends did. And so when I got the collection, I started out playing 1, and I've done a review of my adventures in Battle Network 1 over the when I got around to I never actually got around to beating it even on Switch yet, but I'm taking my time with that because that's the hardest game in the collection, or at least from my point of view, and I've played all the different versions at one point or another, and I can tell you the Legacy Collection is a lot easier because you can get your Buster to do one shots, which is how I actually play the game. I remember thinking, so I have physical copies of Battle Network 3 and Battle Network 6 on Game Boy Advance right now. But I remember thinking when the Legacy Collection came out that I will not play them because the ones on Switch are a lot easier with the Buster Max mode. And after after trying to play Battle Network 3 at one point since I've had the collection, I went back to play Battle Network 3 on my DS Lite, and I can tell you this, I definitely prefer the Legacy Collection. So now I just have two copies of Mega Man Battle Network 3, and I have one copy of Battle Network 3, which is blue, and I have both copies of Battle Network 6, and I can tell you I definitely prefer the Legacy Collection because of the quality of life improvements to it. And so that's how I play it now. And I can tell you I'm having a blast playing the Legacy Collection. I've had a blast since I bought the Legacy Collection when it came out in '03. I mean, when it came out in 23, which I'm uh I'm getting all the dates kind of confused because, well, I am because I just am, and that's why I've had to backtrack when talking about the dates. But I know that only one game in the series do you have to play it 3 times to actually beat it 100%. And I've actually never done that completely when it came down to Battle Network 4. Oh, wait, I actually own a copy of 3 of the games. I do own a copy of Red Sun that's not on the Game Boy Advance. So I own 3 copies of so I own 3, 4, and 6 physically for Game Boy Advance, which I don't play, like I said, because why would I play an inferior game that is always tricky when I can play a game that has quality of life improvements over the series that perceived it over the years. And so I'm still having a blast playing it, and I'm actually currently playing Battle Network 2 at this current moment. Not at not while I'm filming, obviously, because I can't multitask with my CP and the fact that I'm actually filming a video at the moment. Well, I can't play my Switch because I need both hands to do that. Am I looking forward to the Switch 2 in a couple of months? You bet I am. Am I looking forward to playing the Legacy Collection on Switch 2 if I can? You bet I am. Am I looking forward to keeping up my playing of the Legacy Collection until the Switch 2 comes out? You bet I am. Do I know how I'm going to beat what games I'm going to beat in the Legacy Collection? No, I don't, but I do hope to beat at least one version of 3. I don't know if I'll play 4 again because, like I said, that game you've got to beat 3 different times. Although I might do a run through of 4 just to beat done the collection once, because it's the different versions of 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just let's take Battle Network 4 for example. The only difference is the tournaments you hold and the chips you collect, but and the double souls you have and the opponents you have in the tournaments, which Battle Network 4 is just tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. I do know that. And that's why I don't want to play it 3 different times because who would? It's very repetitive, and it's just not to me. I don't see the point in playing a game 3 different times just to 100% it, even though I am a perfectionist when it comes down to some titles. I am not a perfectionist when it comes down to Megaman Battle Network, although if they do release the Star Force collection, I might try to 100% that. I don't know if they are going to. I hope they do. And that's just my take on that, because I did love the Star Force games after when they came out. They were fun. But this isn't just a video game review, because my summer camp used to do these quote unquote mixed drinks. I used to call them camp specials, and I just happened to let me grab the drink bottle I've got over here, because I actually have one that I've had since yesterday that my dad made me, which is root beer and my favorite mix to make these camp specials when I was a kid was root beer and Sprite, and that's technically what I have here. And although it's root beer and generic Sprite, what the heck? It's still root beer and Sprite. Oh man. Oh, that's a lot more potent than I remember the drink being from, because I haven't made one of this specific camp special in a while. I remember them being very potent, and as you can tell by the look on my face, it is very, very potent, because we all know that root beer has different flavors depending on what brand of root beer it is that it's made with. Although, instead of it actually being root beer, it's Dr. Pepper and Sprite, but I digress. A camp special is a camp special, in my opinion. And I'm having a blast this weekend so far, and I really should get back to playing. Really should get back to playing Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. I'm your host, Isaac Brummett. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. I know I sure as hell will.